and welcome. This is Ruth, and today I'm making something a little bit different from my usual card videos, but I would like to make myself a little Christmas decoration, and I wanted a little lantern. And I actually had this little lantern. As you can see, it's pretty old looking. It's been out in the garden for quite a while in a sheltered spot, and I have brought it in, cleaned it all up, and I really just want to repurpose and reuse because I really don't just like waste it all, I have to be honest. So I'm going to decorate this up and hopefully it will turn out really nice. I've cleaned it all, and one of these little pieces came off at the side, and I thought actually it made it more easily accessible to get into here with that off, so I'm not going to glue that on again until the end. But hopefully this is going to work because I have used this before on a little tin in my Tonic Clocks and Cogs video. And this is glacier paste, and it's called bronze medal. It's really beautiful stuff, and I stippled it onto a little tin and then made a little decoration out of it, and I'm going to do the same thing on here and hope this turns out really nice. But let's just see what it looks like for a start. Now I'm not sure whether I want to just brush it on first and see how that goes, and then afterwards I might come back and stipple it. But I know it doesn't actually need any preparation beforehand apart from a clean, because I've used it before and it dried out really lovely on that other tin. So I'm going to go ahead and paint all of this up, and I am using a pretty old brush here. I've got lots of brushes, all different shapes and sizes, but I've taken the glass out too, I should have said, and I'll put all that in at the end. But as I was saying, I have lots and lots of brushes, but for this type of thing I just like this old brush because it can get into all the nooks and crannies, and it doesn't really matter if it gets a bit bent, or it doesn't really matter if I do damage it a little bit because I only use it on projects like this. So anyhow, if you think you're going to enjoy this and you want to see more of this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be able to see lots more stuff as it comes up. And don't forget, if you are enjoying it and do enjoy it at the end, leave me a little thumbs up and leave me a little comment and let me know what you think. And I'll just carry on painting this and probably have to dry it and come back with a second coat, but let's see how we go. I thought it would probably take a couple of coats, but actually it has turned out really well just the way it is, and I might just need to touch in a couple of bits. So I'm going to go ahead and do this little piece here that fits in the bottom with the candle, and then I'll leave it to dry. It doesn't take too long, but I can actually speed that process up with my heat gun as well. So I'll carry on and then I'll come back and we'll add some decorations to it. While all of that's drying, then I think I'll go ahead and decorate some of these fir cones, and I'm going to add some of these glitter accents on. So these are quite thick and you can put them along the top here. Then if you want to sort of spread it out a little bit, you can use a paintbrush as well, but it's very easy just to put that on, and then that looks like there's some snow on there. While all those bits and pieces have been drying, then I've gone ahead with some of the Tonic Craft Perfect grey board. Now this is 600 GSM, so I want a base to set my little lantern on, but I don't want it an awful lot bigger than the lantern, and I don't actually want it very heavy either. So 2 pieces of this are perfect, and I'm going to I've cut them to 15 centimeters square, and I don't really want the corners showing, so I'm just roughly cutting around there, and then I'm going to glue those together. Now I've been outside and I've got some little bits of twigs and things. Now you can see they're not actually dried out or anything yet, and they would really need to be, but I'm going to use them anyhow. they'll shrink a little bit as they dry, but I'm not really worried about that. So what I'm going to do is, once I've glued these two together, I'm going to add some twigs on like this with my glue gun, and then I'll put the lantern into the centre, and then I'll start adding the little details around the outside. You'll just need to remember that whatever size of lantern or candle you're going to put in the middle, you want to leave room to lift that off and on, because you'll need to light the candle or do whatever, because I'm actually going to put the glass back in here, so I want to be able to lift that off. So these are just going to go around the outside, and I'll glue all of this together. I glued all those together then, and I trimmed off the edges just to keep it nice and sort of tidy, and then I went in with my craft knife and just trimmed away the little bits of excess grey board there, and this lantern fits nicely back in there, and you can see I've got the glass and everything back into it. So I've taken some sugar crystal glitter card, hopefully you can see how shiny that is, and I have cut that just to fit right inside there, and I'm going to put some glue on the back of that and pop that in. Obviously this will depend on what size your grey board is once you've got your little twigs and things on, but I have that cut to suit mine, and it's just a little base to set the lantern on. Now I have got a few things from local shops, and I'm going to use them now to decorate some of this along with the fir cones and whatnot around here. So now I got some garland ties and some tiny baubles that I'm going to use along with the pine cones and things that I have here as well. So if you're looking for those, I actually got those in Poundland, and they've worked out really well for me because these are long, I'll show you here, long straight pieces of very inexpensive kind of wire with foliage looking stuff on it, and I have bent them into sort of M shapes with a little curl at the sides of them here, and I've got 4 of these ready just to put on here. So the little curl bits at the end, actually I should just show you how I've done this. I've taken one here and turned the end round in a little curl at both sides, and then I've bent it in the middle, and then in the middle of both of these sides back down again, and then give or take a little bit. You can obviously manipulate that to suit as you go along here, but that's the kind of look I'm going for there. So what I want is a little curl here to go on, glue on these edges, and then that covers any little pieces that you have left showing there. And you can do the same here, maybe bring this up a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that on, and then that way we'll have something to attach the little pine cones and things to. I can go ahead and glue these bigger fir cones or pine cones into this little area, because that will give a little place for it to sit. This little part that sits out over the wood there is a nice little area for that to sit on, because you don't want that to just be attached there, or it would get bumped every time the lantern comes out and in. So I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom of that and move around there with those little ones, so that will go on just there. And then I've got the smaller ones, and I'm going to put one on each side of that. Now this is where it all starts to come together and look really lovely. You can see all the glitter accents have dried really beautifully on that. And then I've got this wreath that I got in the range, and I can start taking this all apart. So if you just open it out and take all these little pieces, you'll find that they're all on little wires, and you can actually just snip them off. I have my secateurs there, but probably scissors would do the job. And they'll come into these little pieces here. And what I find is you can use this very, very cheap and inexpensive foliage in the background. And this one isn't expensive either, but it looks a little bit better. It's more leaf-like, I think. So you can start to add these pieces in around the edges as well, but you don't want to add them in big clumps. So you can just cut that down there, down the centre, and you've got two little bits. So now what we can do is add those in, and they can poke in there, and you can glue them in with your glue gun as well. And this gives a bit more thickness to the foliage. So all I'm going to do is pop some glue in there and in there at that side, and we'll work our way around just adding more of that in. So now I've got these little baubles, and they're sort of, some are glittery and some are shiny and some are a matte finish, and I want to sort of add them on randomly, so I'm just going to put one here and there through it and not actually have them too symmetrical. Everything else is very symmetrical. And then this pick that I bought from the range, I'm going to snip off these berries and use just tiny little bits of them and poke them in and out there too with the rest of the foliage, and it's starting to look really, really nice. So just like this, and work my way around it. That looks really, really beautiful now, but what I want to do for a finishing touch is take some of this polka dot ribbon from Tonic, and you can cut that into sort of 9 centimetres. It doesn't actually matter the size, but the ones that I've cut are 9 centimetres, little strips, and then the wire that I have taken all of these little pieces of foliage off, you hold this little loop. I'll move this over so you can see it better. Fold the ribbon over into a little loop like that and pinch the bottom in. And then just take the wire that you've already used and wrap it round that just once or twice, and then you've got yourself this beautiful little piece of ribbon that you can poke into here and there. We're going to do several of these, and then I'll bring this in again just so you can see. So I'm just going to poke them in with and glue them with the glue gun, and then you'll see all those beautiful little bits of polka dot ribbon shining up as well, and that looks so pretty. That's turned out really, really well, and that ribbon actually just gives that the little pop that it needs, and it's beautiful no matter what angle I look at it. So I can't wait to get the lantern back in, and at the moment the lantern is just sitting in the kitchen with the little piece of metal that had come off, getting glued back in again, so I just need to leave that for a minute or two. But before I leave all of this lovely stuff, I wanted to make one last little thing with it. So I've taken another one of those little strips of the garland tie, and I've just made a little point in the middle, turned it over, and I'm going to make a little heart with that. So it's really just to attach it like that at the top, twist the wires around a little bit, and you've got a little heart, sorry. And then I have got some of this Craft Perfect jute twine that I'm going to use to make a little loop at the top of it. And then I've got a 14 centimetre strip of the ribbon again, so I'm going to glue this into a little loop and make a little bow for the top of that. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but that ribbon in among that foliage there reminds me of those, is it fly agaric? I'm not too sure how you say that, but the lovely toadstools, and it just looks really, really beautiful with all that sort of natural feel to it. So I've got this glued, and then I'm just going to pinch it in slightly, and I think to do that I'm going to actually add a little bit of glue into the back there, and just be very careful. You've only added a little bit because you don't want to burn yourself, so it's just a tiny little bit in there, and then I'm going to loop this around there and make myself a little bow. Oh, that's turned out so pretty. I really love that. I haven't done anything like that for a long, long time, and I actually used to spend a lot of time flower arranging and making lots and lots of decorations, particularly Christmas ones, but actually all the time. That was just my thing for a long, long time, and I got into card making, and then I didn't really have time for this, but I'm going to have to make some time for it. So that's this all finished. Actually, I was thinking that I was going to add some little decorations up on the top of this, put some foliage on here, but then I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and just keep this with an actual proper candle inside, so the heat might just be too much for that. If you don't have a lantern or didn't even want to get a lantern, you could certainly go ahead and make this from the twigs from your garden or wherever, and little pine cones, fir cones, and this foliage and bits and pieces, and it would still be really, really lovely with the glitter card inside. Maybe you could add a little candle of your own in there. Just make sure if it's a real candle that it's not going to be anywhere near these where it could maybe burn them or whatever. Just make sure you keep it very, very safe. You could put a battery tea light in there, a bigger battery candle even, and sure, isn't that just beautiful? It's a lovely thing to be able to make, and I hope you've really enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you have enjoyed it, because I really, really did. As I said, it's something that I've done for years, and if you enjoy it, I might actually come back and do more of these type of things. So don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, to do that, to hit the notification bell and keep up to date with all of the videos as they come along, to give it a big thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and also leave me that little comment that I was asking you about before. If I have any of these products are from Tonic and I have affiliate links for them, they will be down in the description as well, and I'll get a little commission from that, but it won't cost you anything else extra. So thank you very, very much to everybody who uses that. And until next time, happy crafting.